Hi, real quick video today just to talk about some things you can do to strengthen your fingers and just general sort of hand health, if you like, as a guitarist. Things you can do away from the guitar. I was talking to somebody last week about building up hard skin on fingertips. So if you first start playing the guitar, it can be quite painful pressing down on the strings with your fingers because your skin's quite soft. Over time that skin hardens up and you think nothing of it, but when you first play that can be a bit of a problem. Now there's a little trick which I thought was fairly common knowledge but this guy hadn't heard of, and what you can do is to help harden up the skin is to rub your fingers with white surgical spirit. Sometimes I see that sold, either surgical spirit or rubbing alcohol, sometimes it gets called. Basically once or twice a day just get a little cotton wool ball, soak it with the alcohol, the surgical spirit, and just wipe it on your fingertips. And the surgical spirit helps to draw the moisture out of the skin, helps harden the skin up, and over the course of a few weeks will harden the skin up. Important thing to bear in mind is don't do it immediately before you play, because your fingers will still be moist off the spirit, and then when you press the fingers down on the strings, it'll actually start to tear the skin, which isn't good. Put the spirit on when you're not about to play, and so it'll dry the skin up and it hardens it quite nicely. Something else to think about is just how you build up the strength in your fingers, because playing guitar is not a natural thing, particularly when you're first starting out. Your fingers are kind of bent back on themselves and you're pressing down on the neck. It's not a natural thing to do. And as you play, as you practice, your fingers will get stronger. But there's one or two things you can do to help build up the strength in your fingers. One thing you can do is get one of these things. This is a grip master. Basically, it's a little spring-loaded device. The idea is that you hold it in your hand, and as you squeeze it, it builds up the strength in your fingers. These are quite good. They come in a variety of different spring strengths, though. You can get them like a lower tension, which is great for practicing guitar, just building the strength up in your fingers like that. They go right the way up to really heavy strength for people who are training the fingers for doing things like rock climbing. And if you're just beginning guitar and you find that's a little bit of a strain, then getting something really heavy like the rock climbing grade grip master will probably be too much. But you can get the lighter grade ones, which are great for guitar. So you just hold it in your hand and keep your fingers in the sort of position that you would for playing guitar, and just squeeze down on those individual things. That helps to build up the strength in your fingers. As with all exercise, though, only practice to the point of comfort. As soon as it feels like you're starting to strain your fingers or it's starting to hurt, stop. Take it easy. You don't want to end up pulling a muscle. It's about building the strength up in your fingers, not about pushing yourself beyond the limits and end up hurting yourself. So that's the grip master. That's quite a useful little thing to have. Something else which is quite fun to play with is this stuff. I've got some. Got it from the Science Museum. It's marketed as science putty. Basically, it's silly putty. And it's quite a nice sort of consistency. Just holding it in your hand, just squeezing it and manipulating it helps to build up the strength in your fingers. It's quite useful. So if you down the toy store or something, you pick up a little egg of silly putty. Yeah, it's quite a useful thing for building up the strength in your fingers. Okay, so just a few thoughts there on how to improve your general finger health. Of course, you always benefit from playing the guitar, because that's what you're strengthening your fingers for, is for playing the guitar. But if there's times where you can't pick the guitar up, if you're say like travelling on the bus or whatever, having a little thing like the grip master or a thing of silly putty just to play around with to strengthen your fingers, it all helps. So it helps you to practice the guitar away from the guitar. Okay, so that's all for now. Bye for now, and I'll see you in another video soon. Cheers.